Hey, greetings everyone. It is GleeCon, and I'm back again, bringing you another episode of Lore of Warcraft. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are the best. You're the real ones. On our last episode, we finished off the Horde journey through Hillsbrad Foothills. We got a slight little bit of a carry through the end. Not a slight little bit. A straight carry. Through the elite quests of the zone, killed some dwarves, and he being our warlock Forsaken is ready to kind of venture out in some other areas, but we're going to spend some time leveling in Stranglethorn before we move on to Arathi Highlands. I mean, I guess he could have also gone to Alterac Mountains. I just don't know that there's a lot of Horde quests there. I don't know. We've also been reading through the World of Warcraft Official Magazine, which is what you see before us with this dude's face that we're looking at. This is a fourth issue of the first volume. It's the final issue of the first volume of a quarterly series that was introduced in the 2009 BlizzCon, and we recently covered what happened in 2010's BlizzCon, and it didn't make it much past that. On the last episode, we talked about some of the toys that were available in the game at that time. We talked about a few other things, some smatterings of lore and stuff like that. But this time we're going to kick it off with an interview, it looks like. So stay a while and listen. This is an artist spotlight, Samwise Didier, the art of Blizzard's Samwise in his own words. So you might have noticed this Samwise with a big circular O, dotting the I there. If you're a longtime fan, you've noticed his art before. He's been around for a while. You're already well versed in the work of Blizzard's senior art director Samwise Didier, but did you know that Warcraft was named after one of his Dungeons and Dragons characters? In addition to being the lead singer of Blizzard's in-house band, Samwise has been helping to craft the Warcraft universe's distinctive visuals since the original Orcs and Humans. While his most recent work has been providing the art direction for StarCraft 2, his influence can be found across the entire Blizzard family of games. I think the Warcraft franchise is my favorite just because we've been working on it since the very beginning of Blizzard, he says. Warcraft just has it all. It's a lot of colors, super heroic proportions, not a lot of fuss over the minutiae. Everything's big scale, right? The stories, the philosophies, everything raw. We now present a collection of art handpicked by Samwise Didier with his comments on what makes these images special to him. Enjoy. So here's a cool picture of... I like a couple things about this, so let's see what I like about it first. This is a lone panda and a cub in his back, which that in itself is cool. This is before the Pandaren became a race. He's double fighting with these long bamboo spear type things, and as you can see, he's sliced the face of a scourge in half as he's being attacked. This Pandaren-inspired piece pays tribute to one of my favorite stories on Earth. This is just another day in the Eastern Plaguelands for our heroes. Note how the youngster is still asleep on his father's back. That's cool. Okay, so this is Sentinels versus Scourge. Another one right here. Pretty cool. Tons of Sentinels and Night Elves, including Illidan and Malfurion, and some big, like, bear form other druids, and they're just fighting armies. Maybe Kel'Thuzad or someone in the background there. It's an epic battle picture. Hidden in there is a Hydralisk from StarCraft, the initials TEE, and a Pandaren. Can you find and collect them all? Let's see if we can find them. So first of all, a Hydralisk. I mean, pretty busy stuff. And I can't, this is already maxed zoom. A Pandaren, a TEE. I'm not going to waste too much time looking for these things, but it'd be cool if we could find even one of those three things. Looking in the foreground. That looks like an abomination in the background. I don't see the TEE, but I mean, it could be anywhere. It could be like just gently. Oh, there's the Pandaren right there. Okay, so if you're not can't really see my cursor to the left by the left of the two Worgen, like right in his face. You can see his head. So we did find that. Um, I don't really remember what a Hydralisk looks like. I kind of think they're like the taller aliens that can shoot spikes. Um, so it would be tough because I don't have as clear of an image in my mind of what they look like. So I couldn't give it as good of like a yes, I definitely found it kind of treatment like I can some of the others. And unless it's like also it could be one of these things like put on like stabbed up. I don't think so. So yeah, so I'm missing the Hydralisk. I just don't want to burn all the episode looking for it. And the TEE. So I didn't find that. That's something you guys can check out. And feel free in the comments to let me know if you find those other ones. Okay, the first Pandaren, the picture that started it all. That is a cute one. That's the Pandaren with the kid sitting on his back. I like that. It's kind of got like, if you've seen the show Sweet Tooth, it's kind of got some vibes of that. There's just something always cool about the story of the big stoic warrior and the child kind of bringing levity and also bringing, highlighting the sweetness of the character. The Legend Reborn. I created this art for my friends in the metal band Hammerfall. It's a reinterpretation of their mascot, Hector. Originally, Hector was a more traditional medieval knight on the band's early album covers, but the more the band and I worked together, the more the guys were cool with me fleshing him out into the metal-winged, flaming, hammer-wielding hero he is today. So that's pretty cool. So this is just album art for the cover of their... It's pretty cool, too. Here we have Dwarven Party Machines. I wonder... They just look like that. We have a night elf like barfing, and a gnome who looks like they've already barfed. Dwarves are without a doubt my favorite alliance race. They're squat, bearded brawlers with an affinity for ale, battle rams, and metal. Note the pink-haired gnome and the cute night elf trying to keep up with the mighty bearded ones, and of course they cannot. I wonder if he likens himself to that with his long flowing hair and liking of metal in a different sense and his beard. The giant slayers, you've got the three... Actually, yeah, it looks like it. 3 dwarves. You've got a hunter, maybe a warrior or paladin, and you have a rogue. All dwarves sitting on top of a big giant. People have asked me what I like to draw in my spare time, so here's an example. It's an artistic interpretation of the classic fantasy hero shot done in reverse. Instead of one hero standing triumphantly on a pile of bodies, it shows a pile of heroes standing on one body. The art is very Warcraft in style, and people have asked if this is World of Warcraft related. It's not. This is just the way I've always drawn. Warcraft is in my blood. To draw any other way feels forced. It's a good picture. Some of these pictures I don't love as much. Like, for instance, this one, I'm actually not as in love with that picture. But some of these others, I really do like a lot. Almost all of the other ones I really, really like, including that one. In Memory, I don't know what that is exactly. But you see you've got the orc and the dwarf. I did this the night I found out Frank Frazetta died. His influence on me was immense, though our art is radically different in style. Here the Alliance and Horde honor the Frazetta icon. Among the mourners is a Pandaren and Rexar, who is my artistic tribute to Darkwolf, a character in the Frazetta movie Fire and Ice. Frazetta movie? I don't even know who Frazetta is. Where's the panda? Oh, in the back, you can kind of barely see him right there. Rexar. I'm going to look this up. Who is Frazetta? Frank Frazetta. This guy. Okay, so he was an artist, a fantasy artist, basically. He died in Fort Myers, Florida, in 2010. So that's that. So this is a fresh piece of art. So that does take us there. That if he said this happened when he found out, this right now is the first quarter of 2010 when this magazine's coming out, and he died in May 10th, 2010. So this is fresh art that he just drew, which is probably why Rexar is in the background. Because Rexar is big for this expansion. King Magni Bronzebeard. This reworking. Let's look at that art. Where did it go? This, we're actually looking at it. This is the Magni Bronzebeard one. This reworking of King Magni of Ironforge was created for the World of Warcraft trading card game. He's entering his avatar state, growing in stature and slowly transitioning into his stone form. The female dwarf in the picture is directly inspired by one of my women's World of Warcraft characters. One of my woman's. The possessive, my woman. Maybe not a wife, maybe a girlfriend, maybe yes, it is a wife. But that is inspired by his woman. That's a long beard. There's him kind of going into stone form. He's in avatar state. That is a pretty cool picture. Here's a gathering of the tribes, various different things. Here you have Diablo, you have a Protoss, a Space Marine, a Demon. I don't know what this brain is. Or traditional Murloc, traditional human with the Blizzard. Of course, mage, no mage. Noble yet savage, strong, yet but ruled with intelligence. This art was created for our Circle of Honor commemorative Stein that will be given out to Blizzard employees on their 2-year anniversary. The picture incorporates our company's original mascot from when we were called Silicon and Synapse. He's the quasi-hip brain guy wearing the shades. Gotcha. I never liked his design. I mean, come on, he doesn't even have shoulder pads. Oh, he's got like a little suit. Okay, so yeah, that's their original thing. The duel at Thunder Ridge. That's another dwarf V-Orc. So you can tell he likes dwarfs best. He fixed that over humans. This is one of my favorite paintings. It's a duel to the death between my 2 favorite races and my 2 favorite hero classes. Orc versus dwarf. Blade Master meets Mountain King. Victory or defeat is insignificant compared to the spirit unleashed within the battle. Wow, that was some pretentious crap right there. Yeah, so that is cool. And I like how that Stormhammer's like sliced. That is a pretty cool picture. The 2-headed ogre ninja. That's actually a pretty cool concept. The silent and deadly ogre ninjas have plagued Azeroth for never. This was a joke idea I came up with for Warcraft 3, and it eventually turned into a trading card for the trading card game. The ogre is so proficient in the art of concealment that even the wisp is oblivious to him and goes about its business. That's funny. On Lord of the Clans, I actually thought this was a Metzen piece of art. I really thought Metzen drew this picture. Inspired by the King Conan on his throne shot at the end of the Conan the Barbarian movie, instead of the brooding Cimmerian, we have the newly risen war chief, Thrall. At the time, this was an important image because it showed the world that we were trying to achieve with our orcs and what the new horde was all about. Noble, yet savage, strong, but ruled with intelligence. Our orcs weren't the typical mindless, bloodthirsty brutes. We were pushing the boundaries of what people assumed about orcs. That's actually from the book, The Lord of the Clans. Oh, we have more. I actually kind of like this piece that we're reading today, where it's just him talking about all of this art. This is right up. I like it. It's right up my alley. Terran up the night. Ha ha ha. I like it how it's a Tauren. Terran. This piece was created for an amazing band called Tafka Late Etc. Lady. The artist formerly known as Level 80 Elite Tauren Chieftain. Obviously, the picture is a little more comical than the serious nature of the band's musical work. I don't know I don't know anything about them, so I'd have to hear it. I like not milk down there. That's inappropriate. Mad cow. Blasting through the stars. It has been my honor for years. Let's look at this picture. It's like a Christmas. Like a mixture between StarCraft, Warcraft, and Christmas. It's been my honor for years to create the art for our annual Blizzard holiday card. I love it when our worlds collide. Note the Zerglings and pink-haired gnomes. Old Santa Orc has tallied up on the side of his bike. Ah, I see. There's the gnome Zerglings. That's funny. That's funny. Haha. Broll the Druid right here. And actually, Broll Bearmantle is someone we've talked about on the last issue. The cosplayers. We created Night Elves as a new playable race for Warcraft 3. Since their addition to the Warcraft universe, they have become one of the most recognizable and iconic characters for Blizzard. I remember we had some difficulty selling the Night Elf concept that's been so embraced by our players. Yep, our elves are 7 feet tall with blue and green hair. purple skin, and can shapeshift into predatory forest animals. Not your average elf, no sir. And Paladin. This character really exemplifies to me what a paladin is in World of Warcraft. He's a stoic and stern soldier who's mighty in faith and in strength of arms. This art is based on the Warcraft 3 paladin hero, but juiced up a bit more. I believe this armor was modeled for one of the very first PvP sets one could attain in World of Warcraft. That's pretty cool. Alright, moving on into the community here. Looks like we've got some t-shirts. Keep your shirt on. Epic purple shirt. Binds when picked up. Shirt requires level 85. That's cool. Jinx games the system when it comes to making licensed apparel. There's Murlocos, the best fish tacos in Azeroth. Zach, this is by James Bernard Frost. This is the obligatory advertisement article. Zach Scuffin plays a level 85 troll druid in World of Warcraft, where he is a guild leader for Jinx, a guild that concerns itself primarily with progression raids. In real life, though, Zach isn't a healer, but the fashion and trending analyst for a company called Jinx, a high-end manufacturer of officially licensed World of Warcraft t-shirts, hats, and other goodies. He's got, like, Nerf weapons. My bad, guys. That is, hopefully... Yeah, that was one of my people in fantasy scoring a touchdown. If you play a lot of games, you just start to see your life that way. These guys are serious about their craft. As Zach describes it, we represent a lifestyle, and it is important that each and every person here is living and breathing that lifestyle. A very lifestyle. Jinx employees are gamers and self-described eggheads. Brolo, the resident programmer, is a first-person shooter aficionado. Rogan, an illustrator, is a StarCraft 2 player. Oracle, a customer service rep, is a literature geek, and half the employees are max-level members of the company World of Warcraft Guild. Jinx employees don't so much have job titles as they do character names and classes. Brolo's real name is Scott Benner, and he's not just a programmer, but the programmer at arms. Oracle's real name is Keisha Castelli. She's not a customer service representative, but customer care a lot. And there's an illustrator named Chris Hope who enters mustache growing contests, goes by Mustachio, and who's known as the Photoshop Warlock. Employees at Jinx wouldn't be working there if they weren't into games. We asked Sean Jinx Gailey, the co-founder and co-owner of Jinx. His character class is Creative Overlord. If this, oh, you can see pictures of them. If this was a conscious approach or more of an organic one, Sean laughs. You know, it wasn't something we planned, but I wasn't surprised. If you play a lot of games, you just start to see your life that way. This is him, Zach Scuffin, and Kyle McCarthy that enjoys the chaos on the floor of BlizzCon. The company even tries to turn their website into a game. Visitors can earn Jinx Gold when they buy products online and Jinx Experience Points for participating in contests, trivia, and blog comments on the company website, all redeemable for discounts later on. With experience, visitors can even earn titles and recognition. Here's how the Jinx team goes about creating a t-shirt in guild leader Zach's own words. So now we're going to go through the process of the different shirts they make. Garrosh wants you. I mean, it's cool. These shirts are cool. Level 1. Hello, world. Most of our ideas get generated as part of weekly think tank meetings. We all meet in the Great Hall, a big open space at the center of our office that doubles as the location for epic ping pong tournaments. The entire creative staff rolls in chairs and sits in a circle around a conference phone on a stool so people who work outside the office can listen in. We start by just checking in. Someone like Brolo will bring up some internet meme he picked up on 4chan, and it'll spark up ideas. After a while, it gets more formal. People write down their ideas for t-shirt designs on post-it notes and stick them on a whiteboard, sort of just letting their brains bleed out. Thrall with a warhammer sitting on a wolf, for example. Once we've got a whiteboard of stickers, people come up and explain their idea. If an idea is good, it kind of resonates, and people add more stickies on top of the original. It's an informal voting system, and by the end, the good ideas are represented by big stacks of colored notes. Level 2, the concept. We get about 10 or 15 ideas out of a session, and from there, the idea moves to the art room. The 4 guys in the art room go all out. Mustachio's got a wall full of skateboard decks that he designed. Borodor's desk is covered with Diablo and Spawn action figures. Rogan is a Star Wars nut. His space is jammed with AT-AT walkers. I don't know. I like Star Wars, but I'm not enough to know if it's AT-AT or AT-ATs. This room has serious personality. So Mustachio will take one of the ideas from a think tank session, say a Worgen symbol, find an image of it and pass it over to Lunchbox, our project coordinator, who then packages the concept in the image and sends it over to Blizzard's people for their opinion. Level 3, the spirits intervene. There's a lot of back and forth with Blizzard during the concept and sketching phases. Blizzard is serious about authenticity, and as the resident World of Warcraft expert, part of my job is to make sure the perspective of gamers comes into play in our designs. Once we get past a simple yes or no on a design concept, it's a matter of nailing the detail. Maybe a gnome's nose is too wide, or the phlogiston boiler on a zeppelin is missing. While this is going on, Lunchbox is making sure we're on schedule. Okay. Level 4, drawing, inking, and sampling. Nothing happens without the talents of our illustrators. These guys bring a lot of influences from skate culture to hip-hop to high fantasy to the drawing board. Border, for example... We're going to the next page. Where's it all at? Oh, did I accidentally skip it out? No. That's 114. Oh, I did miss a page. Whoopsie. I skipped a page. I don't even know how I did that. So we've got, actually, you know what? I think I have it on hand here. It's going to be, give me 1 second. We're going to lose a little off in, like a little bit of the, I'm not going to re-upload this, but I can at least read it to you guys. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I don't know. I must have been sloppy doing it at work or something. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, somehow I just skipped this page 115. Bordor, for example, loves zombies, so his output's pretty gory. Physically, they're on their computers using different Adobe tools, sometimes transferring work using a digital pad or sometimes hand sketching, but really it's about getting their imagination on the paper. While they're sketching, I'm deciding on the cut and color of the t-shirt and placing an order through our warehouse on people. Maybe a teal v-neck for a dragon design. Level 5, the print room. On-screen printing is outsourced to a local printer. We send off the art, color blocks, and instructions, basically a blueprint, and then our truck delivers blanks to them from our warehouse. The place is super noisy and industrial with these spider-armed machines, each arm transferring a different colored ink onto a t-shirt. Oftentimes, guys like Rogan will go down there to oversee the process, say if we want a vintage look that requires some care, where the inks need to absorb some of the garment's color. Before the entire run gets done, there's a press check where we send a sample over to Blizzard to inspect the quality. Let's say we get the orange wrong, it gets sent back. Before the shirts come back to us, they go to a finisher who puts tags on the tees, folds and bags them, and labels the bag by size. Sometimes they'll do some cool stuff like an interior print of a logo or a clip label. There's a sidebar that says familiar face. You can check out what Jinx is up to in Azeroth thanks to the magic of the armory. The Jinx Guild, led by Hanimal, fights for the Horde on Rune Totem US. So I don't know if they're still in existence now. Level 6 Team Warehouse. The warehouse is as full of characters as the rest of the office. Merlin is the warehouse manager. The warehouse guys are a bunch of amateur fighters. They have strength competitions and weight loss charts down there. It's like they take gaming to a physical level. They like to throw parties, but they're serious about the place too. You wouldn't believe how elaborately organized it is. There's a completely custom mobile cart and bin system so that multiple orders can be done at once. A printout comes organized so they can put an order together on the carts as they come down a row. The warehouse is 18,000 square feet and all of it's utilized. And finally, level 7, Into the Universe. The great thing about Jinx is that everybody's spreading the word just by doing what they do best. Superfly will be on Facebook talking about last night's episode of V, and it might seem natural to mention one of the latest print designs. Just natural. Online, we found that our number one source for new visitors is people telling their friends. This led to the thought that our website could be a game, so we created the EXP program, where you essentially get experience points for participating in community activities on our site, such as a trivia contest or posting comments. From there, you level up and get rewards and discounts. It's like a kick-ass version of store credit. We also do a lot of things that we do even if we weren't at Jinx. We throw or sponsor local events here in San Diego, like the Street Fighter 2 tournament in North Park or Retro Game Night in La Jolla. And then there's all the conventions like BlizzCon and PAX. Technically, we're there representing Jinx, but we don't mind being able to play Diablo 3 before it's even in beta. All right, so that's the end of that article, and we're going to continue on. Four Instances of Life by Shannon Germain. Players discuss how the experiences they've shared in Azeroth expanded into the real world. How has World of Warcraft affected your life? If you're anything like most players, you've met few new friends, kept in touch with some old ones, and maybe even learned a little something people in the service about people in the service of a common cause. Maybe you found love in game or overcome your fear of heights by gaining your going down achievement. Here are four World of Warcraft players who have tales of their own to tell. So, the first is Azeroth does a body good. I'd say a few hundred glasses of milk were consumed. At the age of 1, Mark Palermo was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. Seemingly healthy, his diagnosis only came after his brother was born with the disease. He lost both his brother and sister to it. I very nearly joined them less than a year ago, says Mark, and this is where World of Warcraft comes in. Although Mark played online games, he didn't try World of Warcraft until his need for a lung transplant at 22. Mark opened a trial account on his laptop and rolled a dwarf paladin named Klaas. My intent, or Klaas, was originally to make him come as close to Santa Claus as I could, since I didn't intend to get too invested in a paid subscription game, he says. My reasoning was that my life expectancy at the time could be measured in months or less, and leaving my parents with a recurring payment and no knowledge of how to access the account was not something I wanted to do. At nearly 6 feet, he weighed just 112 pounds. The transplant team was unwilling to operate on a patient that was so underweight, and decreed that if lungs should become available, I must be at least 150 pounds to receive them. I pledged that I would gain the necessary 40 pounds as quickly as possible by normal means, he says. Klaas had just passed level 10 and was finding ice-cold milk left and right, and I decided that every time Klaas drank a glass, I would drink a glass. If I had to guess, I'd say a few hundred glasses of milk were consumed. Roughly a month later, my weight was up to the requisite 150 pounds, and Klaas was almost level 20 and still drinking ice-cold milk. On April 1st, Mark was flown to another hospital for his transplant. After a month of intense rehab, he went home nearly 2 months ahead of his recovery schedule and began playing regularly as Feronius, a Draenei Paladin on Silverhand, US. That's actually pretty cool. I have no qualms about subscribing anymore, as I can once again expect to live years, Mark says. It's cliche to say that World of Warcraft players have no life, but in my case, it's at least partly because of World of Warcraft that I have a life at all. That's a touching story. That's cool. When I was tanking and she was burning souls, it felt like we were together. Love is in the air. This is Catherine and Thomas Roldan. There's a lot of love flying around Azeroth, but not all of it is strictly in-game. For Tomas Roldan, true love started in Argentina, flew to England, then landed smack in the middle of Azeroth. While living in Argentina, Tomas met Catherine via an online social app and fell in love. It was during Tomas's first visit to England that World of Warcraft came into the picture. At first, I was too scared to openly reveal how much of a geek I was, because she wasn't one, says Tomas, a self-proclaimed game aficionado and lorehound. Then about 4 weeks before I returned to Argentina, she asked if I'd ever played something called World of Warcraft. She pulled out a 10-day trial from her drawer. As it turns out, she had a geek inside her and didn't even know it. The two began playing, both when they were together and when they were on opposite sides of the world. I can't describe how painful it was to be apart, he says, but we could travel to this wonderful world, escape for a while, and forget that we were apart, because when I was tanking and she was burning souls, it felt like we were together. Absolutely. For sure. What a great way, rather than just sticking on the phone for hours, to be able to chat and play together for hours. That's actually really great. In the end, the couple made their Azeroth dreams a reality. They got married, and now they live together in England, where they're still playing World of Warcraft in Torgenstorm and Scarlet Sun on the Nordrassil EU realm. We love the lore, so we take our time, he adds. We read about a zone, about its towns and stories, about the evil that lurks around it, the instances and rare mobs. It might take us a bit more time than most people, but for us, it isn't about getting to level 85. It isn't about raiding or getting rich. For us, it's about the ride. We want the adventure to last as long as possible. For show. I laugh every time I see a Tauren male dance. Marks of Honor. While cancer prevented Michelle Anderson's late father, Donald E. Foster, from playing World of Warcraft with her, the two shared the game in other ways. I would talk to him about World of Warcraft and he would chuckle as he listened, she says. If my dad could have played, he would have picked a night elf druid. He loved druids and elves since before I can remember. He gave me my passion for reading and fantasy lore at a young age. After her father passed away in October, she created 3 new characters, all dedicated to his memory. As I play with each of these characters, I remember lovely things about my father, she says. For Cataclysm, Michelle plans to make a male Tauren paladin, strictly because of the dance emote. My father would dance like that when he was trying to be cute or funny, she says. I laugh every time I see a Tauren male dance. It also brings tears, because I can't see my father do that dance anymore. Oof. Tug on the heartstrings. Michelle shares the same birthday as her father and plans to dedicate the day to playing the characters she's made on Shadow Council US. This will ease the crushing pain of having my first birthday without being able to share it with my father, she says. If it hadn't been for World of Warcraft, I think I would be lost for a tribute for my father. When I get so sad or depressed because he's gone, or when I miss him so much the ache is crushing, I hop on one of the characters I made for him and it brings a smile because it brings so many loving memories. Nice. Yeah, having a tribute is good. Andrea Carrier here. I can do my job and do it well without being bothered by limitations. The Right of Vision. World of Warcraft is known for its distinct visual style. For Andrea Carrier, who was born with cataracts that rendered her blind, the game's simple, clean lines were more than just stylistic choices. They made it possible for her to play despite her visual impairment. Before World of Warcraft, my real-life social experiences were limited, she says. I was shy, withdrawn, had few friends, and no close ones at all. Andrea, who'd had a number of surgeries to give her some limited sight, says the discovery of World of Warcraft changed everything. With World of Warcraft, those problems were pretty much solved. I mean, my friends and I can't hop in a minivan for a weekend road trip, but honestly, raiding is a great substitute for that. We're all together working for a common goal and having loads of fun in the process. For once, I feel like an equal member of a team. I can do my job and do it well without being bothered by limitations. I feel like a normal person with a normal circle of friends. The changes the experience brought didn't stop in-game, however. Along the way, I grew more involved and became more open in social situations, she says. This actually led to me being more capable in real life as well. I didn't notice at first, but looking back over the years, I'm much more open and can speak more comfortably with people now. After playing Iskarix on Maelstrom US on dial-up for years, Andrea and her sister even organized a campaign to get high-speed internet in their area. I had to take charge and call several people, most of whom I didn't even personally know. She says the conversations were smooth, and the anxiety I used to feel was pretty much gone. I think World of Warcraft is a great character builder, and not just with pixels. The game gave me a lot of what I was missing, and thus allowed me to level up in real life as well. And our BlizzCon guest. Sometimes you just need a break from real life, and that's what we offered in our BlizzCon trip giveaway. We plucked Diane Coring from her job as a certified nurse aide in Nebraska, CNA, for a few days to let her and a friend have the run of BlizzCon. Diane says she plays World of Warcraft so she can meet new people, then make trips to meet them. This was my first BlizzCon, and I had the time of my life. Glad we could help you out, Diane. All right, so we could finish here, but let's go ahead and read one tiny other one, which looks like it's just about kind of like an article also. It is called Grandmaster Crafters. If you thought that tailoring, cooking, and jewel crafting were only for creating in-game items, then you haven't met these talented artisans. An exquisitely detailed sculpture of Grom Hellscream roaring in battle rage. A cartoon-style plush purple replica that gives a bonus to spirit. Hearthstone cookies designed to transport players to the plane of mouth-watering bliss with just one bite. Whatever their in-game professions, World of Warcraft players around the world are bringing the game's weapons, characters, places, and stories into the realm of reality with modeling clay, foil, felt, fabric, inspiration, and a little help from their friends. For many, taking the Azeroth experience and bringing it into the real world with hands-on creations offers crafters a way to get closer to their characters and friends. For others, it's something else as well, a way to give back to the World of Warcraft community. That's cute. Okay, so Jaina Stout, who plays Serthida, Tauren Druid on Bloodhoof UF, often makes plush recreations of her and her friends' tunes. From her first Horde Moonkin to her Fuzzy Fellhunter, a gift for her boyfriend's sister, and which she named Thudrum, to her in-progress Onyxia Pinata, she won't be full of hats and weapons, probably just candy. Jaina uses her crafts to make the world in-game and out a better place. I believe that if you're given a creative gift, it should be used to make people around you happier. I believe, oh, that's what she said. She says, making people smile with my creations is the most rewarding part of crafting them in the first place. To that end, she recently crafted a pink recreation of an Alliance Moonkin for Raid for the Cure's Susan G. Komen fundraising raffle. The Moonkin went all the way to Scotland, where he now lives on his new owner's desk. She also spreads the word about both World of Warcraft and crafting via in-person exchanges and online meetings. I've encouraged and advised guild members on their own crafting projects, even doing streaming video chat before raids to let guildies watch me work on sewing projects, she says. And while we're settling into our new apartment, I met 2 World of Warcraft players in 2 days. My downstairs neighbor recognized the plush Moonkin, and our cable guy told us all about his paladin when he saw the Moonkin on my desk and the screenshots on my desktop. I love meeting other players in real life. She especially likes to help non-crafty players find ways to represent their passions. Simple things such as the colors of your faction's battle standard can be applied to all sorts of different mediums, says Jaina. I'm wearing a friendship bracelet that's based on the colors of Surthida's Tier 9 Rune Totem gear. I love the warm browns with the cyan, which are also the colors of Thunder Bluff. That's one of the great things about real-life crafting. You don't have to raise your skill level to 300 before you can fashion something worthwhile. I think it's important that anyone aspiring to make their own crafts just tries, Jaina says. Even if your first project doesn't come out perfectly, the whole thing will have been a learning experience, and you can apply that knowledge to your next endeavor. Be brave. World of Warcraft is an amazing, vivid, and huge world that's easy to get wrapped up in, but it's also a great source of inspiration. Okay, we also have Michael Farr. The look and feel of the game is so incredible and unique. It looks like he's making stuff out of clay. Maybe a Garrosh-y kind of guy. Michael Farr, a sculptor who plays Zelfun, a human paladin on Frostmane US, has a great deal of experience both gaming and sculpting, so it made sense to combine his 2 passions. When I was younger, I played the original Warcraft RTS games and loved them, Michael says. They influenced me to create entire armies of orcs, ogres, dragons, and humans out of modeling clay and Lego blocks. I even made a Lego Blackrock Spire. All black, of course. Michael's newest sculptures, including the likes of Grom, Hellscream, and Thrall, are much more intricate, elaborate, and time-consuming projects. He starts with a wire frame and then builds the creations with polymer, clay, and aluminum foil. I find with sculptures like these I can do a better job when I cut them in half, he says. I do the lower body from the hips down in one sculpt and from the waist to the neck in another. I have to make the weapons separately as well because of their weight. The head is last usually. After that I just make sure it looks right, then I make sure it feels right. After all, I want an orc. Then I bake the whole thing together and my wife paints it. Oh, that's cool. Michael, who says it took him about a month to create his detailed replica of Grom and quite a bit longer to build his Thrall, takes his design inspiration from the best place possible, the source. I use Blizzard's very own cinematic to create Grom, he says. I just kept watching it over and over, pausing now and then. For Thrall, I actually used the cover from Lord of the Clans. The armor and look of Thrall is quite different now, but I went from the book. When it comes to World of Warcraft, I could create anything, he says. The look and feel of the game is so incredible and unique. And here we have April Walker. It's fun to share experiences both in-game and about our projects. It looks like action figure, like a G.I. Joe style. April Walker, who maintains a number of characters on various realms to keep up with her friends, but mostly plays as Mighty Kiwi, one of those elusive female dwarves on the Staghelm US realm, has also found crafting to be a great way to combine her 2 passions of art and gaming. I love World of Warcraft, and I love making custom toys, so a World of Warcraft themed one was bound to come along sometime. April says, I have all different kinds of hobbies, but making custom toys is probably one of the most rewarding. April has a number of real-life friends who share her dual passions of gaming and custom toy creation. It's fun to share experiences both in-game and about our project, she says, and it's super fun to surprise them with your newest World of Warcraft-inspired project. While some of her toys have ended up as gifts for a friend, she's designated the majority of them for a unique project. I've kept most of my customs for my own collection and display, and I'm planning on basing a gallery around them next year as part of a senior thesis for college, she says. Now, if only I can get an achievement for finishing a custom. Leanne Behrens, while there aren't any achievements for out-of-game crafting, there are innumerable rewards for newbie and grandmaster crafters alike. Role players, for example, find that crafting can help them get deeper into the game and into the mindset of their characters, or, in the case of role-playing enthusiast Leanne Behrens, into the mindset of a character's minion. I was really into playing my warlock, says Behrens, who's level 74 warlock. Antigone resides on the Sentinels US realm. Antigone's Voidwalker was her only friend, really, so I was spending a lot of time with him out while Antigone hung out in inns and taverns and the like. While she played, she started noticing the simple design of the creature. I thought about how easy it would be to make a little felt Voidwalker, so one afternoon I set to work, she says. A short time later, Antigone's in-game friend, took physical form. Since that first minion, she's made half a dozen purple plushies. That's a little scourge, I guess. Little whatever you call those zombies. And one handcrafted felt ghoul. There you go. For other warlock friends. All my World of Warcraft crafts have been made into gifts, she says. Most of my friends expected their Voidwalkers, but they were still always so excited to get them. I started adding individual name tags, and one Voidwalker even had a felt pineapple attached to it since his recipient lives in Hawaii. There's also a Voidwalker in California and one in Washington State. And we have Jocelyn Anderson. While Jocelyn Anderson doesn't play World of Warcraft herself, her boyfriend Jason Waters has been playing since open beta. With several level 80 characters on different realms, he's a dedicated aficionado, and she's a dedicated baker. So what better way to restore Jason's health and mana than by whipping up some World of Warcraft cookies, cupcakes, and cinnamon buns. Jason's a big fan of World of Warcraft, so I thought to make something along the game's lines, Jocelyn says. I used the Horde's faction logo, as that's what he was playing at the time. The World of Warcraft items are put to good use. They're devoured. I mean, World of Warcraft items in sugary goodie format. How could that not be enjoyed? That's cool. Little cupcake, Horde cupcakes. Of course, sometimes good intentions can go a little awry. The shape of a particular berry gave Jocelyn a spark of inspiration for a new way to support her husband's Horde character, but the end results, while still delicious, weren't exactly something to crow about on the chat channel. I've spent several hours trying to make Horde logos out of strawberries, she said, so just in case anyone has a sudden urge to make a strawberry Horde logo, they should know that it's awfully tricky. I've yet to make it work, but that's okay. Strawberries are delicious in any form, even if it's a botched faction logo. And we have Hearthstone cookies, pretty simple. Requires level 1. You take sugar cookie dough, homemade or store-bought, for 2 dozen, blue food coloring, paste, 1 cup of light brown sugar, and 2 tablespoons of cinnamon. So these are a cinnamon cookie, basically. We make cinnamon rolls, cookies at Christmas time, my wife and I. Mix the brown sugar and cinnamon well until blended. Add blue food coloring paste until the mixture turns blue. So that's what you're using to make the swirl. This will take quite a lot. Dust the area with flour and roll out the dough. Aim for a rectangle shape. Sprinkle the dough with the sugar mixture, then roll it up carefully. Chill the dough for a few hours to let it stiffen. When chilled, slice into sections that are about a 1/4 inch thick. That's a little thin. Lay on the cookie sheet with a few inches between them. Bake for about 8 minutes at 350 or until the cookies are golden brown. And their use temporarily satisfies your desire to eat cookies. If eaten while already in home location, it will transport you to home location. Source, artisan cooking trainer. She's an artisan cooking trainer. I like it. Jocelyn Anderson. All right, so this is our last one we're going to read. They actually take us to further cooking after this, but we'll pause, and that will be what we'll do next time. Nicole Fowle. In Azeroth, characters have to pick their primary professions carefully since they're only allowed 2. On Earth, player crafters don't have to narrow their choices, which is a good thing, since many find that they can't just stop at 1 or 2 types of art. Some get excited by the possibilities and start seeing everything in terms of how can I make that. Take, for example, Nicole Fowle, a level 80 Night Elf priest on Korgath, US, who plays alongside her husband, her brother, and a group of close local friends. She's made everything from a chocolate and fondant alliance cake to miniature hand-sculpted griffins to a World of Warcraft clock that displays both realm time and local Australian time. I'm a mad crafter in general, so I don't have a specific type of craft I prefer, Nicole says. Making World of Warcraft-inspired crafts was really a natural progression from my love of fantasy art. Many of my sketches and paintings are fantasy-based, and when I began sculpting miniatures, my first inspiration came from the game graphics I spend so much time admiring. For her, the diversity provides her with just one more connection to her many friends and family that play. Crafting allows me to make one-of-a-kind items as gifts for my gaming friends and family, she says. Gamers seem to be really hard to craft for, since their main hobby is intangible, so World of Warcraft allows me to show my love by making them something really special that means something to them. Also, I spend a lot of time admiring the artwork that goes into the game, so I use the amazing talent of the World of Warcraft artists to inspire me to achieve greater successes. So much time goes into the imagery and story, it seems a waste to just zoom through without stopping to smell the frost lotus, waka waka. Inscription, glyph of favorite faction. It requires Horde or Alliance faction. Source, artisan inscription trainer Nicole Fowle. Reagents, glue, tape, pen, craft knife, stamp pad, picture of your favorite faction logo, foam sheet, scrap of timber. Get a clear picture of your faction's emblem. Simple is best. Print out the image at the size you want and trace around the picture, simplifying it. If you need to, color in the areas you'll be removing. Tape your image onto a piece of craft foam and carefully cut out your stamp. Use a new blade in your craft knife for a clean, snag-free cut. Glue your foam stamp onto a piece of scrap timber or a very firm cardboard. When dry, ink it up and get stamping. Its use: make custom cards, gift labels, and wrapping paper. Artisan crafters can try their hand at stamping fabric to produce faction bandanas, hats, shirts, and bags. Yeah, that's cool. She did a good job on that. That's cute too. I like the white head of the real in-game one a little better, but it's still... This kind of reminds me of like a 1980s animatronics movie thing. This actually looks good. It looks like almost like a sushi, but it's cucumber. I'm looking forward to reading what that is, because I both love cucumber and love sushi. That's probably not sushi, but... All right, we'll read about that next time. This episode's in the pipe 5x5. Thank you so much for watching and listening. One more episode and we'll wrap this one up and we'll be on the last one. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will see you on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft. Peace.